Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge, and who won the transfer window? Is it as simple to say it's Liverpool, or did the Gehi deal falling through take it away from them? I've also got some interesting notable shout-outs, surprise shock shout-outs. What about Newcastle? What about Chelsea? But let's start it off. Like, Liverpool obviously had a good transfer window. Did Arsenal steal it at the end? I think you've got to bring some things in though. Like, Sunderland had a great transfer window, but we don't really know much about Sunderland and we don't know much about their signings. So context is key. We'd be guessing there. I think with Arsenal and Liverpool, we know the quality of these teams. First and second as well. They go out and buy a raft of quality players. But when I look at who wins the transfer window, it's not just about quality, because I think Manchester United have brought in quality. Mbeumo, Cunha, Šeško, quality signings. But the balance of the scales are like that. Very good attacking signings. What about the defence? What about the midfield? Okay, we got a goalkeeper in, but he is unknown. So I don't think United's window matches up to a more balanced window like Newcastle. Actually, we've took the piss out of Newcastle's transfer window. But when you look at it, when the window closes, that's when you look at it. They've dropped points at the start of the season with the Isak thing and not having a forward, but they've now got Voltemeda and Wizza. They've also got Jacob Ramsey in the midfield. They've got Alanga on the wing, and they've brought in that centre-back from Milan. Actually, I think those 5 signings to what they've already got, considering Isak's the only player they've lost and Callum Wilson needed replacing, yeah, you don't want to lose Isak, but that's not a terrible window for Newcastle considering all the piss-taking that was going on. But look, it has to come down to Liverpool or Arsenal for me. And Liverpool win the transfer window if they get Gehi, because you've got your centre-back, your 2 full-backs, your midfield's brilliant, you've got an attacking midfielder in Wirtz, you've got one of the world's best strikers in Isak, and you've got one of the most sought-after young strikers in the game in Ekitike. It's a brilliant window. But does not getting Gehi, give the gift to Arsenal as winning the transfer window. And I think winning the transfer window in the past has gone to people like West Ham and Spurs, because you go, oh, good signings, good signings. But I think more and more you've got to look at the team that does the deals and the context of that team, and do they fill the holes? I look at Arsenal and I go, backup goalkeeper, 2 defenders with Hincapié and Mascara, 2 midfielders with Norgard and Zubamendi, and then 3 forwards, Eze, Madueke and Gyökeres. That's a ridiculously balanced transfer window across the window for Arsenal. And remember as well, this transfer window, the biggest spend we've ever seen. Football changed. Football did change. We spoke about it on this channel way before anybody else, basically at the start of June. We sensed this was coming, and it did happen. Teams at the top spending way more than anybody else, relentlessly more than anybody else, because they want that Champions League money. £100 million of revenue a year that they want to lock down. 5 years and it's £500 million. And they want to win the Premier League. They want to win the Champions League. But there's also this, let's lock down being in the top 4 forever, so that it becomes the Super League where there is no relegation from it because we're in it. And how do you not get relegated from the Super Champions League? You don't finish outside the top 4 in the Premier League. And to do that, you've got to spend the money you earn that others don't have. So if you're in that Champions League, the key is now, and I think we'll see it every year, if you're in the Champions League, you spend ridiculous money to make sure you stay there the year after. And then you do it again and again. And then after 2 or 3 years, you have this super squad of talent where things just can't go wrong. And I think that's what we're looking at here. And I saw a great point online last night that even if Ekitike didn't work at Liverpool, he's still a Liverpool player. And you could still move him off for probably 50, which in a year or 2 is going to be, you're going to break even at least. So it's very clever if you can do it, and it's going to be very hard for teams like Villa, Man United, Spurs, etc. to get near these teams if that's what's going to happen. So for me, I do think it comes down to Liverpool or Arsenal for it. Who wins it? Look, these are the 2 teams that are going to be, one of these is going to win the Premier League. I genuinely would have given it to Liverpool. I genuinely would have said Liverpool win the transfer window. But the Gehi thing just makes me think, does it happen? Who's solved the problems they need to solve? Liverpool needed fullbacks. They got 2 good fullbacks. Liverpool needed attackers. Obviously, we've seen Diaz go, we've seen Nunez go, and the tragic loss of Jota. And they've brought in, Wirtz, Isak, and Ekitike, which I think are incredible signings. they didn't need to do anything with the midfield. Arsenal needed a striker. Gyökeres is very good. They needed a midfielder with Partey going. Zubamendi is very good. And then I think basically their other signings, maybe Eze's a first team player, but I think Madueke, Norgard, Hincapié, what's his name? Mascara and Kepa. They're bench players really. So the reason I'm giving it Liverpool is because I think all of their signings are first teamers. Kerkez, Frimpong, Wirtz, Ekitike, Isak. They're all high-level first-team players going into a team that won the league. And Gehi would have been as well. But I don't think the loss of Gehi means Liverpool don't win the league, because all 5 of their signings go straight into that team. Even Ekitike, I think, will get into the team. Probably from the left. Whereas with Arsenal, Gyökeres starts, Zubamendi starts, but I don't, and maybe Eze. So maybe 3 of them start. But when everybody's fit, I think the rest of them is squad. I can see why people would say Arsenal won the transfer window, because it's a really good window and it's balanced. And you know what? Arsenal need a bench, and they've got a bloody good bench. They've probably got a better bench than Liverpool at the moment. But the reason I'd give it to Liverpool is because the quality of their signings are first team. 5 first teamers. That's half a team on top of a team that won the league. So that's why I'd give it to Liverpool. But you could give it to Arsenal on the key of it being a really balanced window. Look, on volume, we've got to shout out the likes of Sunderland and Nottingham Forest. They've both bought a lot of players. And for me, that's the big unknown. If Forest can get into the top 8 again, it's a bloody good window for them, especially if they do well in the Conference League. I think with Sunderland, 6 points from 9, that's not being mentioned enough, by the way. I'm pretty sure that the first 3 games of the 3 promoted teams last year, they didn't have 6 points together. So 9 games, they didn't have 6 points together. Sunderland have done it in 3. I think that's a fantastic achievement for a team that came in through the playoffs. So I think Sunderland's transfer window is paying off already. And at the end of the year, at the end of the season, it'd be interesting to see where they finish. Because if Sunderland are not in a relegation battle, that transfer window for them is epic. Absolutely epic. There are clubs who haven't done a lot. Fulham's, Aston Villa's, I don't think they did enough really. I feel like Spurs had an interesting window. You know, Kudos, even Mawani, Palhinha, Xavi Simons. I think they did more than that, but I think that was an interesting one. I don't feel like Man City's was particularly brilliant. Cherki, Altnouri, Reinders, Donnarumma. I think it was a transformative window, but not at the level of a Liverpool or an Arsenal where you'd expect Man City to be. So I'm going to give it to Liverpool. Let me know what your thoughts are. Get in the comments. It's definitely been a good transfer window. Make sure you smash a like and subscribe. What a summer it's been. I'm back live with you for the Bundesliga review show. I did it at 4:30 last week as a pre-record. It's going out live. So I will be showing you the goals, reacting to them with your comments, goal of the week, etc. Really excited to do it live. Another new step forward. That's going to be about 5 p.m. UK time. So tune in for that. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Get in the comments. I want to know who won the transfer window for you, but I also want one notable shout out. I'm giving Newcastle a notable shout out. I think it was a very balanced transfer window for them in the end, and they couldn't do anything to lose in Isak. Speak to you on the next one. Take care.